Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is SOFIA binti ZAINI. My MATRIC number is 240000231. Today, I would like to talk about a topic that affects all of us. It is inflation and how Islam provides guidance to deal with it wisely and fairly. We often hear the word inflation in the news. Prices are rising, cost of living is increasing, and our money seems to buy less and less each year. But do we really understand what causes it and how Islam views this issue? So, let's take a closer look at both the modern economic understanding and the Islamic perspective of inflation. So, first of all, what is inflation? What do we understand by inflation? Inflation simply means a continuous increase in the general price level of goods and services. In other words, when prices go up, the value of money goes down. For example, if you could buy a pen for only RM1 a few years ago, and now it costs maybe RM2.50. Now that's inflation. The same RM1 no longer has the same purchasing power. Inflation is a normal part of economic growth, but when it becomes too high, it can harm people's welfare, especially those with fixed incomes like pensioners or low-wage workers. It will burden them more just to survive during the inflation period. Now let's move on to the causes of inflation. I think most of us must think that the cause of inflation only have one or two, but economists generally explain inflation through four main causes. First of all, demand pull inflation. This happens when demand for goods and services exceeds supply. Imagine during festive season like Hari Raya, everyone wants to buy new clothes, food, and decoration. For example, chicken. Everybody wants to buy chicken, but when the demand are higher than chicken supply, it will cause the inflation. So, the sellers may raise prices because the demand is higher than what is available. Next is the cost push inflation. This occurs when the cost of production increases. For example, if fuel prices rise, transportation become more expensive, and companies will pass that cost to the consumers. So the consumers will have to pay more because the costs have increases. This is one of the main reasons why the price of goods tends to increase globally, because the companies didn't want to bear the excessive cost and lost the profit. At the same time, they want to maintain their profit, so they didn't have a very bad condition in their company. Next is a monetary inflation. This happens when too much money is printed or injected into the economy. When money supply grows faster than the actual goods and services, the value of money drops. You can think of it like watering down syrup. The more water, the weaker it is. Similarly, when money increases without value creation, each unit becomes less valuable. Lastly is the imported inflation. This occurs when the cost of imported goods rises. For example, Malaysia imports a lot of food, oil, and machinery. If the ringgit weakens or global prices rise, we need to pay more, even for the same items, like an apple only for RM1.50, and because the ringgit values drop, the apple will be cost maybe like RM2 or maybe higher. So in short, inflation is not caused by one factor alone, but a mix of demand, supply, production cost, and money circulation. Now that's about the fact about inflation that we need to know before we look in the Islamic economic perspective. Now is it about the inflation in the Islamic economic perspective. In the Islamic view of the inflation, which offers not only an economic explanation but also a moral and ethical solution, Islamic economics focus on justice, balance, and fairness in all financial dealings. It aims to protect both individual and society from exploitation and instability. So first of all, prohibition of riba interest. All of us knows that Islam strictly forbidden in Islam. Why? Because it is stated in the Quran and Hadith. And the reason why, because it allows money to create more money without real economic activity, no goods, no services, but just profit from lending. In a system filled with riba, wealth concentrate in the hand of a few, while the poor become more poorer. When loans with interest dominates, prices of good assets rise artificially, leading to inflation. By eliminating riba, Islam promotes real productive investment and a halal business environment. Next, money must represent real value. In Islam, money should not be just a paper or digital numbers without backing. It should represent real values like gold, silver, and assets. This is why some Islamic scholars support asset-backed currency system, which are more stable. When money is tied to something real, like gold, it prevents excessive printing and inflation, because you cannot create gold out of thin air. This approach ensures stability and fairness, protecting people's savings and purchasing power. Next is zakat and wealth circulation. Another key principle is zakat, or the obligation to give a portion of one's wealth to the needy. Zakat is not only a form of charity, but it is a system that promotes circulation of wealth. When wealth moves from the rich to the poor, it boosts spending, increases demand for goods, and supports small business. This helps stabilize the economy and reduce the gap between the rich and the poor, which in turn prevent economic crisis and excessive inflation. Then is the prohibition of hoarding, ihtikar. Do you know the meaning of ihtikar? Ihtikar is like when the sellers hide the goods or items that are very in high demand, so they can increase their price of goods. Islam also forbids hoarding or stockpiling goods to raise prices artificially. In the hadith say, whoever hoards food waiting for its price to rise is a sinner. Riwayat hadith is Muslim. When traders hide or hold back essential items like food or fuel, it causes scarcity, which leads to price hike and inflation. Therefore, Islam encourages fair trade and transparency in the market, ensuring that goods circulate fairly without manipulation. So, to sum up, inflation is a complex economic challenge, but Islam provides timeless principles to manage it with fairness and ethics. By avoiding riba, ensuring real value in money, promoting zakat, and prohibiting hoarding, Islam creates an economy that is not only stable but also compassionate. In the end, economic success in Islam is not measured by profit. Economic success in Islam is not measured by profit, but by justice, balance, and well-being for all members of society. Let us remember that wealth is a must from Allah, and managing it fairly is part of our responsibility as Muslims. That's all from me. Thank you. Assalamualaikum. warahmatullahi